Hey guys, how are you doing? It's your girl Javon. Yes, I am back. It's been a while, right? It's been like about 2 months, which is wild because it's been times that I wanted to come on the camera and just talk and, you know, check in may not be the right response only because who's checking back. But in my mind, I get it when people just want to come and check in and see how everybody is doing and things of that nature. So I'm chilling watching the game, so y'all might see me go side to side because my team is playing. And if you know, I rock with the Ravens all day, every day. Unfortunately, Pittsburgh won, so. But if we win, hey, that's good. So I'm cheering for my boys. Come on, y'all. Okay, so if you see flashes, if you see me kind of tilting, it's because I'm just keeping score, right? But I figure while I had this time to myself, okay, I would go ahead and just check in and just see how, let me see how everybody doing. Is crazy because it's not like people are gonna be like, yeah, girl, But nevertheless, I just had this experience yesterday, and I was like, oh my gosh! And this is kind of like follow up to my last video. Obviously, it's been a couple of, I'm new to this YouTube space where you create videos and things like that. And I'm not like, I don't see my, obviously, everyone starts off at a place, but it's not like my purpose is to create content. There you go. It was just more so, when you can share any sort of revelation you believe or that the Lord is giving you walking in the Christian journey, just everyday practical life experiences. And you're like, what better way, while the opportunity is there to share these things online, what better way? So that's why I did it. But oopsies. Sorry. So we're not doing so good right now, but it's okay. Let me focus. Yeah. So the last video that I had was talking about me experiencing and just navigating grief. And also, I believe and I hope I provided some words of encouragement to others that may be in the same space as I am. I've never sought like any sort of professional help, though, or therapy to help me process this new space I'm in, because for me, I've lost my great grandmom, but I was 16. I'm in my 40s now. And so I lost my great grandma, and she was older. You know what I mean? So it was like you kind of knew it was coming. It was like a transition. She was put into a nursing home, all of that. So you kind of knew it was coming. So the impact was more out of curiosity, like what will it be with my grandma not being here? And we were close, my great grandma. But after that, I hadn't lost any family member, and that was, again, I was 16. I'm in my 40s now. So it was a long stretch of just not having it personally. Now I've seen it happen in other family friends of mine and their families and the loss of their close ones. So I've seen it, but it doesn't hit you until it hits you personally. And boy, did I get a double dose. So yeah, I was sharing about the grief of my sister and my mom, and within days apart, and just processing it. And I do believe in my immediate family, especially, it's not just my brother, my father, and myself. It's one of those things where I guess maybe I have the role of the strong one, I guess, when it comes to like being able to and I'm trying to be delicate how I say this, but because I say if someone does express emotion, especially during the loss of someone, it doesn't make them not strong. It just makes them human, and that's just their body's way of getting emotion out. Whereas some people like me, I internalize it, and I'm not so good with expressing emotions, especially vulnerable emotions. Like I will communicate and I'll speak my emotions, but to let them manifest where it's like I'm crying or something like that, that's hard for me to do. I don't have a rhyme or reason for it. It's just I guess I'm just wired that way, maybe. Anyway, I say all that to say, so my good friend who was there with me again when my mom passed, which I shared in the previous video, she was attending grief share because of some loss in her family. And she was like, Javon, I really think that you should consider this grief share, because I would confide in her about how I'm feeling and it's offered through my church. And my father-in-law, when he visited, because my father-in-law is Nigerian, when he visited from Nigeria, he, we recently had, at that time, lost my mom-in-law, so he was grieving the loss of his wife. And I actually said, hey, I think you should go to our church's grief share program. But that was a couple years ago, and so I hadn't again lost anybody. I was just providing a resource to him. Anyway, fast forward, I'm starting to get more information about grief share and recommendations. And this one of my sisters and my small group reached out. She kind of was reaching out at just more than normal. And I was like, Lord, is this a sign that you want me to do this grief share? And so I, sorry guys, I'm not sure what's going on over there with the team. But what can I say? I went. And I can't explain it, but I think I had a revelation yesterday. Now, again, this could just be for me, but it could be for someone else on the other end. And so I said, like, my emotions, I've been, of course, I've had moments to cry and internalize and feel sad, but I've never really had, like, a breakdown. And again, I just celebrated my mom's birthday, my sister's birthday, which just passed a couple weeks ago. So this time I went to the grave site just to see, well, I know her body's still physically in there, you know what I'm saying? So it's kind of felt like she's there, she's just not alive. So it's weird, but I felt like I was with her, if that makes sense. Because I was standing where she physically was. Do you know what I mean? Anyway, so I'm like, this is the holidays. It's coming. My mom, I guess she was Miss Holiday. She was very much, into celebrating holidays, and it was just a certain presence about her that she brought. My sister, as we've grown older, she's significantly older than me. And so there was a gap in the age. And so when I came into the world, she was already living her life. And so our relationship wasn't the kind where it would be like we see each other all the time. But when she would come around, and we would congregate one family, but it wasn't like a super, super close relationship. It was close, but not close. I'm not sure if I'm making sense. But nevertheless, my mom was always, again, that one that would come in, and she, like I said, she was my mom. I'm her baby girl. And, she has a close relationship with my children, out of all her grandbabies, she does, because I'm closer to my mom in proximity. She has a close relationship with the grandchildren. So the holidays was just like a no-brainer. We link up, cook, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so I'm processing this, like, what is this year going to be like, with her and my sister not being there, not getting those calls, not wishing them happy birthday, hey, baby sister, whatever. And it was just, I couldn't process the emotion. Like, I wasn't sure what I was feeling. I wasn't feeling, then I was feeling, then I was sad, and anything. Nevertheless, I decided to go. The church was having this grief share, which is like coping with grief during the holidays. And this is, again, this is a new experience for me. So I'm like, okay, let me just go. You guys, when I tell you, I don't know if I just hadn't felt safe with my emotions. And maybe that's why I hadn't been able to really emote and get them out. But when I tell you, as soon as I walked in that room, it's like my body instantly started feeling, how you get that sensation in your throat? Like, it's like, oh. And I'm like, Lord, I know I just stepped in the door. Ain't no way I'm feeling emotional already. I was like, what? So I'm sitting down, and again, there's some people are members of the church, some are not. A lot are, but some are not. And I'm just listening to everybody's story one by one. And the weightiness of the grief. And I felt like, I think I realized why some people may have a hard time, like myself, expressing emotions, like when it comes to manifesting, like, tears. And I know not everybody's just not like that. But I think it's because your spirit doesn't feel safe. I really felt in my heart, I was like, maybe, because again, when I walked into that door, I was cool. I was just going to sit down, tell my story, maybe feel sad, but nothing, But when I got in that room, y'all. I was like, I don't know what's going on, but I'm fighting. I'm doing everything I can because again, I'm uncomfortable expressing emotion. So when it's happening and I can't control it, I'm extremely exposed. Okay, because you got to share your story. You don't have to, but you know, obviously, you want to share your story. And so the lady that's in charge of Grief Share, she goes. So you know, everybody says the introduction and things like that. I thought she was going to go to me first. I was like, yeah, let me stay mine and just kind of get it done and just she gets to me last. So I'm taking on the weight of listening to everybody's story, and then it comes to me, and I'm like, my girlfriend, the one that you know that was there, sweet sister, she was over there. Okay, she's been going to the Grief Share for a while, so she know it's my first time, and she was there with me. Like I said, what she built a special relationship with my mom, and so she knew. Sorry, we just fumbled the ball. I know you lied. I know you lied. Okay, hold on. Sorry. I know you lying. I'm sorry. But so anyway, dang, my mind is all messed up from that fumble. What the Lord? Okay. Y'all, I know we're not finna lose to no Browns. Okay. So when she gets to me in my time to share my story about the loss of my mom, the loss of my sister, and it being fresh, blah, 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 y'all, the emotions just, they came out. And I'm like, I get it now, because I would always not like joke, but I'd be like, okay, yeah. People be like, yeah, I told myself I wasn't gonna cry. I'm not, you know. And I'm like, don't cry. Like, why you have to announce it? But I get it. It's like I wasn't even thinking I was gonna cry from the first start, you know, from the jump. But then when I got in the room, my body started betraying me. You know what I'm saying? I was like, okay, what you doing, body? Because I couldn't control it. I just simply couldn't control it. So I said, okay. But I realized the point that I want to make is I was in a safe space. I genuinely believe the reason why my emotions could not, it's my body. You know, I realized we have to be careful with how we be who you are, but you do have to be careful with the vulnerability around people, especially with something so sensitive. And I don't know if maybe my body just didn't, because you know, you want to grieve. I'm like, God, I want to grieve, but I'm not grieving in a way it's not unhealthy because I'm not doing anything unhealthy habit, but it doesn't feel normal according to what I see. And part of that is, you know, having faith, like no doubt, a good chunk of that is my faith in the Lord and, you know, understanding that we're here temporarily. It's not we're not here to be here forever. Everybody has their time. You know, I was blessed. There's so many blessings that I chose to reframe, the look of the passing of my loved ones. And so that does give me comfort. Don't get me wrong. But there's always, just like you say, you think about, I'm not seeing them no more. They're not calling me. Like my birthday's coming up in 2 weeks and I'm just like, my mama always calls, you know, my sister, you know, FaceTime, and it's going to be quiet, no calls. You know, of course, friends may call, more so text, but, you know, but it's different when your mama calls, but like they want to do all the most with you, and you're like, no, mama, I just want to chill. It's like, no, baby, I'm take you out. Like, no, just please, let me be. None of that. So I think, you know, I'm just processing it. And I just want to say, I believe anybody who may be want to be able, and I know there's people out there like me that want to or may have a hard time expressing their emotions, and it's not even that they don't want to, they just don't come out. And it doesn't mean that they don't have a heart, they don't feel. It's just how they're wired. I believe with certain things you have to find yourself in a place that feels safe, and your body will naturally, I believe the spirit will force the body to, like I told my girlfriend, and then she came over me. She came looking at me. I said, oh, shoot, it's a wrap. I said, girl, don't you come over here. Because, you know, because we experienced the passing of my mom together, and it was such a beautiful thing to connect us. And it was a sad moment, but yet a beautiful moment in the sense that she was just there to be there, support me. And like I said, she had developed her own relationship with my mom. When she came toward me, I was like, get away. And I meant that in the most humble, get away. Because I knew, because we shared that moment, I was already, now the wall was starting to come down. I knew when I saw her, it was just going to be like, wait, like everything was just going to crumble. So I didn't even look at her. I just couldn't look at her. But I just want to say that, you know, grief share is important. You know, I'm glad that I went. I plan to continue to go. I just hope that, you know, for anybody who is dealing with grief and they haven't found a healthy way to do it, or they are struggling, consider something like a grief share, like a space where people can identify with the feelings that you have. You really don't feel judgment, because literally everybody there is experiencing some sort of hurt. So it's not like a place of judgment. What's the word? Yeah, judgment. And you'd be surprised how your body it's a weird feeling. I can't explain it, but you'd be surprised how your body just feels released. Like you feel safe. You feel safe. And I feel one that I bonded with people that you see in church. You never know their story. And then this one lady, she always smiled, all smiles all the time. And I saw her and I saw her, oh my gosh, you would, and my mom like, what are you here for? And she shared a story and I was like, wow, no one would ever know that, because you know, she has this beautiful spirit. She's always smiling, but you never know what someone has experienced. And it was just a beautiful thing. So I'm saying this and I'm gonna wrap this video up because I gotta get to my game, y'all. But as if this video wasn't long enough. But what I'm saying is, if people are grieving, I've realized if people are having a hard time navigating emotions, find a place, a safe space that you can be in, with people who can relate. It's trauma bonding, but in a godly way, because the purpose of the bonding is to get free, like to accept what we cannot change, which is the passing of a loved one, but to find a way to grow. And a good friend of mine, and you know, with her certain things she's experienced, I saw how she was able to minister to another person who just freshly experienced the loss. And it was beautiful, because I remember when she was in a place of not in that space, and to see the growth. So it's like, it goes to show that being around people who can relate to the love and the hurt is so good, because the goal is to get out of that hurt. You don't want to sit in it. You don't want to ignore the loss, but you also don't want to sit in it and deteriorate. You want to find a way to use that hurt to minister to other people. I mean, that's why God is a God of compassion, and he lays burdens on us and trials on us, so that in our and when we triumph through it, you know, we have a testimony that we can share with another person in the faith, even someone not in the faith, but more so someone in the faith. You know what I'm saying? Because we share the faith of knowing where our hope comes from, where our source of joy comes from, and that we don't have to be in this place of darkness and sadness because of the loss of a loved one. So I just want to say that, y'all, I'm getting off this thing. It was nice to come and hop up on here again. I will try to be a little more consistent with some of my videos. I'm still trying to make sure when I put out stuff, it's, you know, it's enlightening, it's enriching, what, Lord Jesus, what, it enhances you. I can't get the words right now. I cannot. So, but yes, have a wonderful day. Well, it's evening. Have a wonderful evening. I hope my team wins, and take care. Bye.